are and when we are. But on average, it's around 40 million miles or 64 or so million kilometers away from Earth. And now with chemical rocket technology today, that would take about 6 to 8 months to get to the planet of Mars. They want to spend a year on the planet and then another 6 to 8 months back. So that's a really long time in space, and a lot can happen to the human body and also to your mind when you're in space that long. The Orion capsule will house 4 astronauts for that time. Now, I don't know how much you like your coworkers, but being in a capsule no bigger than a van for 6 to 8 months in space could probably be tricky when you're just with 3 other people. So along with physical training and knowledge, there needs to be a lot of psychological training and innovation and studies as well. Now, with that being said, if you actually look at that monitor right there, that is a live feed from the International Space Station Control Center, which actually shares a wall with us. It's on the same floor. Up on the station, there is always an astronaut. There's an astronaut up there. They're doing hundreds of lab and study work every single day, the most important of which is the human body. So these astronauts are literally sacrificing their bodies for science to figure out exactly what takes place. Now, when you are in space, things happen that are different here on Earth, especially on the station. They are what's called a low Earth orbit. And so gravity doesn't disappear, they are just always countering gravity. It's if you've ever been on a roller coaster, when you fall on the drop, you feel weightless. And they're essentially doing the same thing. They're constantly falling around the Earth, and that is why they feel weightless. But with that, your body changes. Our bodies adapt to things very, very well, which is good in a lot of cases, but bad when you're in space. With that, on Earth, you were always fighting gravity. Your muscles always have to work. On the way up here, you did it 54 times. I'm sure you loved it. But with that as well, when you're in space, you don't have to have that fight. And so your bone density decreases, your muscle mass decreases, and that's bad when you get back onto gravity. Because then you're not as strong and you're more frail, and you can literally crumble under your own weight if you stay in space too long. And so we're trying to find remedies for that, trying to figure out exactly how we can protect against radiation. When you're traveling in space, you're no longer in the Earth's magnetic field, which protects you. So there's a lot of research we need to do before we go to Mars, and a lot of that and more is taking place on that space station. Now, real quick, if you look, that control center looks a little different than this one. Now, most important of which is if you look at their desks, there's a lot of papers behind there. There's a lot of books and things like that. Inside of those books are procedures. We have a lot of procedures. If something goes wrong or if they're doing something, they need to know how to fix it. They have a procedure for it, and so on and so forth. And all of that can be found in those books. Here, you don't see any of those. You don't even really see places for those to be held. That is because we are going to be green and efficient, which go hand in hand, thankfully. Now, we're not going to have books. Everything is going to be stored on the server here. And if they need to find information, realistically, if you are looking up something in the dictionary, even if you know how to spell it, it can take you a while to find something. If you type it in on Google, it's instant. Same thing, same principle here. Instead of for them looking in those books for the solution or the procedure, they can just type it in to this server, and they can figure it out and relay that to the astronauts much more efficiently and quickly. Now, some people always ask, well, what happens if the server fails? Well, we're NASA. We have lots of backups. And so we have backups of that, and it's not like they're going to throw an end-of-the-year bonfire and burn all the books when they're done. They're going to keep them. So they're still going to have it. We would like to be more green and efficient and not have cluttered desks. It looks very neat and clean in here, and we like that. And so that is the Orion mission. Now, one of the main reasons we love to bring people here on the weekends when we can is to let you know. Like there were only about 4 of you who raised your hands for the Orion. And so now most of you know, and it's exciting. It's exciting to know that NASA is very, very, very much alive. We have a very big and bright future ahead of us. One day I believe this will become a National Historic Landmark for the first time we landed on Mars as humans. And it will be very exciting and spectacular. And so I'm very glad, as long as there's a universe around to explore, NASA will be here to explore it. So it's very exciting times. And I look forward to the future. I'd like to thank you so much for taking the time to come on this part of the tour. Your next stop is going to be a real Saturn V rocket. It was going to be Apollo 18. It just did not launch because we switched over to the shuttle program. But it was 100% built and ready to fly. And it's very, very spectacular and amazing if you've never seen it before. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask. I'll be standing right back there, and I love questions very much. Other than that, please enjoy the rest of your day. Follow your hosts down the stairs through which you came, and enjoy your time. Thank you.
Thank you.